Joining me on the Newshour tonight are the very famous couple who are coming up with their latest presentation, Article 370, Aditya Dhar and Yami Gautam. Thank you for joining me on the Newshour. And Article 370, where Aditya, you turn producer, you're a Kashmiri, and Article 370, Labour of Love, what is it all about?
So everybody has heard about the abrogation of Article 370. It happened on 5th August 2019, but nobody knows how it happened. And that is something which, when we were researching, we realized that it's one of the most incredible operations ever conducted in the history of Indian, diplomatic history of India. And I thought that it is a story which has to be told. It is one of the most amazing like in terms of the characters which were the officers which were working behind the agencies, how they planned the entire operation, and the bureaucracy which was actually backing it and planning it all. I thought it was a no-brainer. It had to be told, and that's how we are here now with the film.
Well, film releasing on 23rd, and Yami Gautam, I want to ask you, on a personal note, how is it having a husband as a boss?
Boss, I mean, I'd say a leader. I think a great leader on set. And having worked with him on Uri in capacity as an actor back then, I knew that nothing's going to change except for the fact that it's only going to get better and better. I'm talking right now in terms of creative forces. And the same passion, the same precision, the same thirst for excellence, it continues as far as Aditya is concerned. And so there's nothing really changed for me. In fact, I'm so happy that he was by my side, not just as a producer, but also a husband. Since we kind of started I embraced motherhood through the film. And not through the action part of it, but the talking part of it. So for me, I think that was an experience as a professional and as in my personal capacity. I think something which was very crucial and special at the same time, and I give Aditya a lot of credit for that.
Well, congratulations to both of you. Not one, but two productions. One being delivered on the 23rd of February. The other, as they say.
We'll leave it. I'm just waiting for all the media speculations that when do they believe it's going to happen. I've already started reading those. So we'll leave it.
Yeah, okay. We'll leave that as suspense whenever that due date is. But definitely two productions, simultaneously. That's a lot of creativity, really speaking, tongue in cheek. But let me ask you, Yami, does it bother you that already some critics are saying that this is a violent and jingoistic film? Similar words came for the Kashmir Files as a propaganda film. Bothers you a bit?
Not at all. Not even one bit. And in fact, it started, I think somewhere we started hearing these terms during Uri, but it kind of receded in the background so strongly because of the way the audience accepted the film and embraced it and made it their own. It really didn't matter. And even now, because we are so clear, this film is for our audience. And audience are, we always have them in our mind while making a film that connects with them, a film that engages them, and also something which is very important as a subject to bring forward. And anyone who passes such judgments or I feel without watching the film, anyway, I mean, there's nothing more you can say to those people. It's for the audience, and we can't wait to see what the response how they pause in.
Well, Aditya, let me first ask you. You've expressed, and I read it in an interview that you gave, that it's a challenge of pitching a script to Yami, saying it's a very difficult and dangerous job. Why
Absolutely.
did you say that? Why did you say that? Darte ho biwi se?
No, because Yami is exceptionally intuitive when it comes to screenplays, and she's somebody who's very straightforward, very ruthless as a matter of fact. So if she likes something, it's great. If she doesn't like something, you really have to go back to the script and figure out what is not working, because whatever films she has said no to have never worked. So there is something about her where she's absolutely able to gauge the audience's pulse, that what is going to work and what is not going to. And the fact lies, in the last 5 years, whatever she has touched, it's like turned gold. So, and whenever somebody like one of my assistants or my colleagues, they want to approach her and they come through me, and I tell them, you have to be very careful, because if she says no to it, then there is definitely something wrong with your script. You'll have to go back and work on it. Otherwise, don't make it, because in all probability it might not work. And almost every time it has turned out to be true. So
Well,
it is a little scary.
well, it's scary.
I have no idea what expression to give right now. That's really sweet.
So, boss lady, NIA officer, the role makes you boss lady. Are you also the boss at home? How does this work? But tell me more about your role as well.
No, it doesn't work like that. No one's boss here. We're all just right after this interview is going to be like, "Kya khane mein, kya khana hai? What should we make?" So it goes back to our regular life. About the role, I represent Navika ji, someone who is an NIA officer, female NIA officer in real life. And I'm so glad that my producer, they did not change the character into a male character just to make it more sellable, just to create more buzz and all those trade economic terms. And the casting.
Because it's based on
true,
like inspired from a real lady officer. And we didn't want to change it. Like it would have been criminal if we had to change it and make it a male officer. It would have been a disservice to our craft. So we were very clear that we wanted a female protagonist, and when unanimously the Geo Studios and our company decided that we need to approach Yami, the fact is that the conversation didn't happen across the dining table at home. The conversation went from our office to her management, and from there it came to Yami. So that is the kind of professionalism we maintain and try to maintain while working, and the personal life is absolutely like away from all that.
Well, we can see that with 2 productions on the way. Yami, you want really people to believe that it was so professional?
It's up to them. I mean, that's the truth. That's our truth. It's been 3 years of our marriage, and it still doesn't feel. It still feels like we just got married, and yeah, it's been. I mean, I think that's the beauty of a relationship. I don't believe in these terms and tags which media gives you to, couple goals and this and that. There are no couple goals. You just build your own life. You just build your own no goals. I mean, overthinking, I think it's something which we don't get into. We're just 2 people who love each other and respect each other's family, and that line of work and everything that we do, and that's it. And then just stay happy, and life goes on like that.
That's amazing. That's amazing to hear how women can follow their career paths, have a supportive husband, and supportive to an extent that you're the main character of his film. Amazing. I mean, whether you call it couple goals or not, it's probably a dream sequence that's really happening in real life. But were you convinced from the word go? Did you push any changes in the script? Because the film says inspired by true events. Are you also worried that you're going to be judged on how close to reality it is?
As he said, I'm someone who goes a lot by my instinct. And if I'm convinced that I want to do this film, I want to be a part of it, that's also instant. I mean, I finish, and my process, I never take narrations. I always read. I'm a little old school that way. I love reading it. That gives me a lot of insight into the writer's mind. And you can't fake it there. You cannot make a scene which does not exist in your narrations. Then it happens also sometimes. So as soon as I finish reading a script, the first thought that I get, I feel that's the purest thought, and I go by it. If I'm convinced, I'm convinced. If I'm not convinced, I will not try and look for reasons that this is the reason maybe I should pursue. That has never worked. So I don't do that. So either it's a yes or it's a clear no. And right from that word, as soon as I finished reading, I said, this story it has to come alive on the big screen. It has to be there for the audience, for the subject that it is. But I think both of us, in our span of careers, we haven't shirked away from taking up bold subjects. We haven't shirked away from taking bold steps. And I think that's required. I don't think the audience, we can put anything, we can say that, oh, the audience is not ready. Are they ready? They're absolutely ready. All they want is good cinema, good films, versatile cinema. No, we're presenting cinema which is part of of reality, of a very, very important reality, which affected our history, present and past, and how, being a Kashmiri or a non-Kashmiri. And it's very important for it to come out, especially for today's youth. I think that's a huge one. So in terms of changes, you're a creative person. I think changes is a very strong word. Once you come on board, I like to participate in this whole creative process, and I sit with my director and writer, and I give my feedback. However, I always request them to leave last 2 pages blank so I can have my feedback presented to them in terrible handwriting that sometimes I have to really, really think it through. What have I written? Why did I write this? but that's my process, and I think no compromise in there. And I watched the film. I'm satisfied with the film, and I watch it I read the film as an actor and as an audience, and I watch the film as a pure audience. And I'm happy. I think this is a film where I know I'll look back 50 years later. I'm hoping I'll be alive. I'll be proud.
Inshallah,
So,
you will be. But let me ask you, when you say this, I must ask you to spill the beans. Which are those films which you said no to and then they bombed? Thoda to. Some breaking news. Come on.
That'll go away, I think, with me. I have never, Navika ji, as part of my just the way I am, for PR plug or marketing or anything, I have never let out those names of films that I'm not a part of. I think this is really unprofessional.
But my show, the Newshour, is a fact check show and hard news show. So I must implore that you give us the hard news on this one.
No, that's going away with me. That'll never come out. And it's important. I think that's because I respect them also. I respect them because someone who presents you the script, for them it's the best thing that they've written, perhaps, and they really believe in it. And even if I decide not to do a film, I still give them a detailed feedback. And there are times where they've turned around and said, we feel the script has gotten better. And it's not that they're trying to convince me to come on board, but just like that, because I just like to have that kind of respect given to writers, especially. And having married to one, I understand even more that this is the toughest process in terms of filmmaking, and sometimes really
ask you the roles of Kiran Karmakar as Amit Shah and Arun Govil as the Prime Minister. You're going to be judged on those two issues as well. कौन कितना reality में उनकी तरह लगता है, behave करता है, and how important is that part? Because 2019 was just 5 years ago in this term of this government. And all of us remember, we've been in Parliament, we've heard those speeches. It's also part of a lot of viral videos, and constantly people are being reminded and revising those statements. So how big a part of the movie is that? And are you a little tentative about how the audience is going to judge you on that?
No, not at all. See, what we are doing is we are chronologically telling you what happened preceding, like before Article 370 was abrogated, and few years before, and what was happening on ground in Kashmir, and what was happening at that time in Delhi. There is Priyamani, who's playing a bureaucrat, who's representing in the PMO, who's representing all the bureaucrats in PMO and HM and HMO, and also the bureaucrat community, which basically people don't understand. Like I feel like a lot of people don't understand that they are such an important factor in taking in on all those decisions when such big decisions are being taken. They are such an important cog in the wheel that it wouldn't have been possible without them. At the same time, the officers on ground in Kashmir who were basically investigating all this before the abrogation was supposed to happen, the army, what they were doing, what CRPF was doing at that time. So for me, somewhere I feel that I'm chronologically telling, and most honestly, whatever the information I have used it to create a great film, an entertaining film, a film which at the end of the day, when you watch it, you go home and you discuss with your family. This is the kind of film I always want to make. It happened with Uri. I really hope it happens with Article 370 also. But the whole idea is that we have to be absolutely honest to our audience. And audience nowadays is very smart. They easily understand ki if this film is being made to make. Is this film a project where you have made this to make a lot of money, or is this a film where the intent is correct? And with me, I always say that the day my intent goes wrong, I'll stop making films.
So let me ask you, Arun Govil has he's mostly remembered as Ram, playing the role of Ram. Now he's the PM. Ram Mandir has just, been inaugurated. Pran Pratishtha abhi hui hai. The charge towards you will be that you are a Modi Bhakt and you have done this just before the elections to give a larger than life aura, to Prime Minister Modi. How do you respond to that charge?
I always say that the current government doesn't need a small film like ours to win elections. If it has to happen, it will happen anyway. So a small film like ours won't get them votes. Whatever has to happen, like they have already done it. So beyond that, like whatever we are doing, we are chronologically telling what happened in those days, and that's it. So let's see what
Arun
happens.
Govil? Choice of Arun Govil?
Choice. Okay, so choice.
Are you confessing hand on heart, that Ram didn't have anything to do with the...
No. So I'll be very honest. When we were selecting the actors or auditioning or basically considering the actors, we wanted to get an actor who might look closest to Honorable PM. So what happened was that we actually used a lot of AI imagery to basically superimpose the faces. And in all those imagery, it was actually surprising that Arun Govil sir's image actually turned out to be the best match in terms of the look. And the first thing was the look. Then we basically started working on the diction and everything. And that's how we basically got to the character. So for me, the process has to be correct.
Okay. So if the process is so sacrosanct, Yami Gautam, again my question to you is that, of course, the Supreme Court has given its verdict on the Article 370, it's upheld it, but there is a lobby in this country which still says, it was wrong, the manner in which it was brought. There are people who have in the past said they will go back and reverse it when they come to power. And many say that, this has been a dictatorial step, quote unquote. Does that bother you? Because that lobby might not quite go with your interpretation of Article 370.
There are always perspectives. Everything is debatable. Everything from the smallest of the smallest thing that you can imagine to something as important as big as what we're discussing right now. You cannot go with every perspective. You cannot please everybody. That's not possible in life. So that's fine. But if you ask me personally, how did I feel? I remember the moment, and when we were all watching, the entire world, I think, was watching. And for a fraction of a second, I think that emotion in the eye and the heart, that cannot be cheated. That cannot be corrupted. That cannot be fabricated. We felt it. And I remember there was something in the air that day, like at night, we wanted to
light diyas, felt like Diwali. That emotion is not fake. That emotion you cannot you cannot push that emotion on anyone. You just felt it. You just felt it in the air.
See, I'll give you an example. We were shooting this film last year in Kashmir. The areas where we shot at, 5 years back, even the authorities were not allowed to go inside those areas. We were shooting in downtown Srinagar, where at one point it was known as the hub of terrorism. And we were shooting really, really sensitive scenes over there with almost a crew of 250 people. And the best part is the utmost support we got was actually from locals, from the people of Kashmir. So, of course, there was CRPF and there was JNK police, which was backing us. But the whole fact that we could shoot over there, where in the history of filmmaking, उस area में कभी shoot ही नहीं हुआ. So for us,
This becomes the truth.
That becomes the truth. There is so much development. There is an amazing amount of footfalls when it comes to tourism in Kashmir, which is happening
Cinema
right now.
halls. Cinema halls opening
hall.
up after 30 years. Well, yes, it's a moment of truth, and I do hope Article 370, when it hits the theatres, actually brings that feeling of truth to people who watch that. And of course, audiences are the final judges, and they will judge your film. And all I can say at this moment is congratulations to both of you, not just for the milestone of Article 370, but for the personal milestone in your lives as you start a family. Good wishes, positive vibes, and a lot of good luck coming your way from us and from our viewers. Thank you very much, Yami Gautam.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you,
Very
Aditya,
kind
for
of you.
joining.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.